everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be starting our plant experiment series. So for this particular video, that means that we're going to be trying to increase the amount of natural sunlight that we can get on a low light balcony garden. Now, I live in Seattle, so this is what I mean by low light. It is noon right now, so this is supposed to be peak sunlight, yet it is probably a UV of 1 or 0, might as well be 0. And not only is there barely any light in Seattle, but this is my balcony, which somehow gets less light than 0. That's because the balcony is west facing, so any sun that does exist, it's not really optimal because it's not south facing, it's only getting a part of the day. But the real kicker is this ceiling over here that is covering all of the cars. If the sun did exist, this would be the one and only path where the sun would come through. So because it's west facing, because we have this ceiling, or the area where the plants are gonna be, really only gets at most 1 hour of indirect, low light, UV of 1 sunlight per day. So you can't really get more low light than this. Suffice it to say, my plants are suffering. This here are carrots that I planted back in August. Guys, August. It is now March, late March, it is nearly April. And these tiny little shoots are carrots that have been growing for, I don't even know how long that is, 6 months maybe? Clearly, they are not thriving. They are surviving, but they are not thriving. So we desperately need a solution. I actually want to see just how long these are in terms of their roots. There can't possibly be anything in here, right? Okay, yep. Here's our carrot, everybody. Isn't that funny? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna test 5 different methods to increase the amount of natural sunlight that gets onto our plants. We're really gonna be using reflectors. So there are a few different things that I'm going to be trying out. First one being mylar sheets. So this is something that is used a lot in emergency blankets to keep you warm as a reflector, but it also can just be found as a regular sheet, and that's what's recommended because it doesn't have lots of crinkles. That being said, when I was trying to find mylar sheets online, they were pretty expensive. I got kind of lucky and found one for only $9 on Amazon, but I had to scroll quite a bit, and I'm honestly not sure if you guys will be able to find it. So I'm also going to be testing an emergency blanket material. It's a little bit more crinkly and not quite as smooth, but we're just gonna try it because I think it's gonna be cheaper and easier to find. We're also going to try paper. Now, this sounds kind of weird, but I've heard that you can use just like a matte white material. And I think paper is going to be a great tester because it's super budget friendly. You can get a huge stack for barely any money at all. So we're going to try that. It'll be very interesting though because it's going to be raining and we all know what happens when paper gets wet. So we will see. And then fourth, we'll be using aluminum foil. That's something that you could easily get off the grocery store to try on your own. The only problem with foil, as opposed to the mylar sheets, is that the foil tends to crinkle, and if there's even just a little bit of crinkling, it can create these like hot spots. I think it's similar to like a magnifying glass, you know, when you get the magnifying glass to the sun and it like creates this cone that you can then like burn insects or whatever you guys do with that. And yes, so we don't want that. That's why the mylar sheets are supposed to be better, but aluminum foil is way easier to get and it's probably a lot cheaper too. So we're gonna be testing that. And then finally, we're gonna be trying just a plain old mirror. Sun reflects off the mirror, goes to the plant, easy peasy. So yes, let's try it out. All right, so we are on our way to Home Depot. We are gonna get 6 plant pots because we have 5 experiments and then we're gonna need 1 control. We also need to get some lettuce seeds. I think we're gonna get something called Butter Crunch or Red Sails or whatever they have really. I think lettuce is gonna work for anything. We just need something that's fast, low light, and for the time that I'm in, which is late March. We also need to get some cardboard or something to kind of cover up, or to create a barrier in between each plant so that they're not getting influenced by the other reflectors. And then finally, I want to get some kind of like a stick or something so that we can actually hold up each of the different reflectors. We could potentially use cardboard as well, and like glue stuff on, but I feel like that's kind of like high effort, and we don't want high effort. So yeah, let's do it. Also, can we just talk, how the hell does anybody vlog with their freaking camera in their car? Because my camera has already dropped, so let's never do this again. Alright, here we are with our supplies. We are going to plant, we're going to take these planters, fill them up with the same amount of soil, and plant exactly 4 seeds into each of these planters. I'm going to set up all the different reflectors, put cardboard in between each plant so that they don't influence each other, and see what happens. So I decided to go with this black seeded Simpson lettuce. It says full sun in the back, but everything said full sun. So I just didn't really know what else to pick. I did see online that lettuce is supposed to be good for partial shade, so we're just gonna try it out. I also did see that the parsley was considered full sun, but I actually have some really nice looking parsley right now that has actually thrived in this low light balcony garden. So that's something that is good to know if you just want to grow parsley. Like, it definitely works well here. So if you like parsley, like, I definitely recommend that for low light. But for today, we're going to be doing this lettuce. I'm going to put 3 or maybe 4 seeds in every single plant pot and go from there. So I'm having this issue where I don't really know how tall to make this cardboard because I want to block the reflectors from each plant, but I don't necessarily want to block the sunlight. So I just don't really know how tall to make this. I might just kind of play around and see what works best. I didn't realize this was going to be so flimsy, so I think I'm going to have to attach this to cardboard or something to get it to stay up, because I don't think my homemade stakes are going to really do the job here, but maybe they will. I don't know. Let's try it. So now we just wait. I'll be rotating the plant pots every day to make sure that they have the same amount of sunlight and there's nothing crazy going on with variability. Plants are looking really good. There are some differences that I'm noticing, but not too many. It looks like the plants with the emergency blanket got smushed or something. Like these definitely got some kind of an animal, or I don't know what happened. So that's definitely not the best. I'm just gonna I may have honestly like messed these up. We'll have to see. Maybe they didn't get smushed. Maybe there was just too much sun on them and that's what happened. And they're just like lacking water because of it. I'm not sure. Okay guys, so the lettuce with the emergency blanket is gone. It's clearly no longer alive. But you know, something that I did notice, if you look outwards, look at that change in color for the soil. That soil is clearly much lighter in color than all of the other pots. And that's just showing that it's a lot drier. But I've been watering all these plants the same amount. So it is very interesting that not only did these plants just randomly die, seemingly desiccate, but the soil is also, the water is evaporating a lot quicker in this pot. So that makes me think that this emergency blanket is reflecting a lot of sun, but potentially so much that it's just evaporating all of the water and desiccating the plant. What does that mean for our experiments? I have no idea, because at this point it's kind of too late to restart. I guess I'll just attempt and we'll see how it works. On another note, the paper is doing really well. I thought I was gonna have to change it out a lot more often, but I mean, it's totally hanging in there. Okay, update. So we are a couple weeks in on this plant experiment video. So far, the plants are looking pretty good. There's some growth, there are some differences, and I'll show them in a second. Okay, so first off, the plant with the blanket, the emergency blanket, is totally not working at all. I do not know what is going on with this friggin' thing, but I planted some new seeds last time that we talked. I got a little bit of sprouts, and then a few days after that, they totally dried up. So that thing is just it's just not gonna work. I don't know, it's not a part of this experiment anymore. For the other plants, I'm definitely noticing some differences. The difference that I've noticed the most was actually the control plant, or the plant that didn't have any kind of foil or mirrors or whatever. That plant is definitely leaning closer to the sun than the other plants. So like the way that plants work is when a sun source is coming from one side, the plants lean in that direction. I feel like most people know that, but I'm noticing that the other plants are not leaning, and I'm wondering if maybe my reflectors are making it so that these plants are getting light from all directions. I mean, that's kind of like the purpose of the reflectors, right? And it seems that like they're genuinely not leaning as much. It's kind of hard to tell, and it was more prominent this past week. Not so much right now, I think, because they're like maybe dried out a little bit. But yeah, I'm definitely noticing that as a change. Okay, so in terms of leaf growth, let's take a look at every single one. Here is the mylar sheet plant. We got the paper plant, the foil plant, which actually seems to be struggling a little bit. This is the control, the mirror, say hello to the camera, and then our death emergency blanket one. In terms of leaf size, I'm actually very surprised, but the mirror plant seems to be doing the best. The leaves are definitely larger than the other plants, which is really surprising because I honestly didn't think the mirror was going to work that well. In terms of the control, the leaf size is, in my opinion, on the smaller end. You can see that the actual stems are quite long, but that's kind of a bad thing. That means that they're like struggling to get sun and they're like growing too much compared to their actual leaf growth. So if you look at like the mylar sheet ones, this is like a nice ratio. Like the leaves are like quite a decent size. The stems are still like tall, but they're not like elongated. They're not like spindly. Same thing with the paper. The paper has actually been very surprising. I thought it was going to be I thought I was gonna have to change this paper out like every day, but I've only changed it once. It's definitely like on the dirty end, but it's really not that bad. We have the foil, which this one is not doing very well. Like the leaves aren't very big. It's clearly dying a little bit, probably just needs some more water. And the stems are a bit on the longer end. But yeah, that is our update. I will continue to let you know how it goes. Just so everybody knows, I am moving in a month, which means that we have a month for this plant experiment video to be done. So if it's not done in a month, I don't even know. That's just what, like, we're just gonna have to see how the plants are looking in 1 month. So that's our deadline. Okay, so latest update. I noticed a little bit yesterday that the plant for the foil was starting to die a little bit. I didn't say anything, but I started to notice it a little bit, and I'm looking at it today and it's honestly not looking good at all. I think it's going to die. So when I was doing research on what to do for these plant experiments, foil was recommended in that it's similar to the mylar sheet, but one of the downsides or potential downsides is that it creates heat spots or sunspots because the foil, I guess, has like sharp little crinkles or whatever, which kind of like shoots sun at the plant. And I think that may have happened because it's getting the same amount of sun as all the other plants and it's getting the same amount of water as all of the other plants. So I think there may have been a sunspot that made this plant die. So I don't know if what that means for this plant, but it seems like it's maybe out of the running. We don't know for sure, but we also do know. Alright, the lettuce seed for the mylar blanket, or the emergency blanket, has been replanted. This is the second time. We'll see if it works this time. Granted, I only have 4 weeks until I move and need to finish this plant experiment video, so I mean, who knows? It may just come out super strong and it'll be the one that comes out on top, even though it has it's a few weeks behind. Just a few weeks. Alright guys, status update. I think this video has gone from a plant experiment video to a plant murder video because this isn't going very well. I can show you what's going on, but all the plants except like one are dying. There are a few that like are alive, but they don't look well. The only one that is looking good is the one with the actual mylar sheet. So that one's looking really good. All the others are struggling, including the control. We unexpectedly had actually a ton of sun this past month. It's still indirect sun and it's only for like an hour, but it was sun, and I think that may have dried some of the plants out. I don't know why the one with the mylar sheet is doing well. I really have no idea. I would expect the mylar sheet to be just as dried out as the control, because if anything the mylar sheet is adding more sun and heat, but it's just not. So yeah, I mean, we have a week and a half left to see how this experiment goes. Yeah, so we'll see. I'm adding fertilizer today, and I'll let you guys know what the end result is. The mirror plant is officially gone. The one with paper is still alive and it's growing. It's just not thriving, I wouldn't say. The control is also alive, but it's a little iffy, as you can tell. The foil is totally gone and I didn't ever plant it. I planted some more seeds for the emergency blanket one, and so those are coming back to life and they look pretty good, but in the end, I mean, we only have a week and a half left, so it is what it is. And now, the star of the show, the mylar sheet. As you can see, it's doing really well. It's not super spindly. The leaves look good and healthy and green. The soil is damp. Like it looks like a good amount of wetness, even though I've watered it the same amount as all the others. So I don't know why, but this one's doing really well. Alright everybody, we are at the end of this plant experiment video. It has been 2.5 months. I planted these back in late March. It is now June 7th. And this video did not at all go the way that I was expecting it to go. When I planted this and I came up with this video idea, I was imagining it to be like plant experiments where I plant these lettuce and at the very end we measure with a ruler or measure with like a scale, a kitchen scale, to see which one grew the most lettuce and which one tasted the best, etc., etc. It was gonna be a whole thing. But instead, we got some kind of a cutthroat kitchen, survival of the fittest, death to all plants video instead. We got a plant murder video instead. Yeah, this is the new true crime. The results are in, and maybe you can guess which plant survived out of all of the plants. We had 5 different methods, right? We have the mylar sheets, we have foil, we have the mylar blanket, we have the mirror, we have the piece of paper, and then we have the control. So the one that made it to the very end, drum roll please, was the mylar sheet. And this is the thing that everybody recommends to use. They say use the mylar sheet. It's in all of the indoor plant growing boxes that you can just pre-purchase ahead of time. But when I got it offline, it was kind of hard to find, and it was really thin and kind of flimsy and kind of annoying to deal with. So I wanted to test all these different options to see what else we could do. And I really thought that the aluminum foil was gonna do well, but that one, I think that was the first one to die. I also thought that the paper one was gonna be a total waste, but it really wasn't. That one is actually doing really well throughout the video. And then the mirror, I also thought that was gonna be a total waste, but that one was also doing really well. But in the end, I don't know what happened. They just all died, except for the mylar sheet plant. And in the end, this is not science. I don't have 20 different samples. My sample size is literally just 1 plant each. But I thought this was a pretty interesting experiment. You know, maybe the mylar sheets are worth it. So there you go. That's the conclusion of this video. If you like these kinds of experiments, if you like gardening, but also cooking and general vlogs, lifestyle videos, please check out my channel. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. Thank you very much.